everyone. This is our week on cells and tissues. We're going to look at biological organization. And before we get into cells and tissues proper, we need to look at biological models. Okay, so the very first thing we're going to look at is how do we organize concepts or living things in biology. Now, the word model might kind of stress you out when I ask you to create a model or use a model. That may seem stressful, but a model can be as simple as a drawing on a page or a picture or a 3D model, right? If you make things out of Legos, you're essentially making a model. If you draw a picture of a house, you're making a model. A model is just any way that you anything you use to help explain a concept or show something in an easier way or in a more concise way, like something that's easier. You can't carry a house around with you, but you can show a design for a house or a model for a house much easier. Okay, so when we look at biology, we organize a ton of stuff in biology, right? Everything gets organized because it makes more sense when we can see the connections, we can see all that information. So here we have a bunch of different things, and we want to figure out how do we organize them. There's a couple ways you can organize them, right? We can organize them from most complex to least complex. We can organize them from simplest to most complex. We can organize them based on their age, how long they live. Individual cells typically replace themselves, but human organisms live a long time. For the purposes of this week, we are going to organize these basically from least complex to most complex. Let me show you what I mean. So here we have it organized from a cell into a tissue, then to an organ, a system, and then an organism. So basically, the way that our bodies are organized, or the way that we kind of categorize them, is we have cells that work together into what we call tissues. Those tissues then are grouped together into an organ. That organ has a singular purpose, right? In the case of our heart, the singular purpose of our heart is to pump blood all around our body, right? The heart then is part of a bigger system. If you add the arteries and veins to it, the capillaries, then we're dealing with what's called the circulatory system. So the heart is a part of something bigger, a circulatory system that ensures that every cell in your body gets the oxygen it needs, gets the nutrients it needs, but also has waste removed. Okay, now that circulatory system is only one of the systems in our bodies that helps keep us healthy, and that it goes into making up a human organism. So what you're going to do for this assignment is you are going to create your own model. And here's a couple examples of models that you could look at. Here's a very straightforward one at the top where we go from cells to tissues to organ system and then organism. Okay, they show a plant on top and a horse on the bottom. I like this one here with the circles. It shows from cells up to organism. Cell being the smallest, and of course organism being the largest. So that one organized it by size, which is kind of helpful, right? On the left here, we have that same thing. We have cells in the smallest box and the organism in the largest box. So we kind of get an idea of which one is bigger than the other, but also it shows us that cells go into tissues, go into organs, go into organ systems. So for your very first assignment this week, you're going to make your own model. And you're going to use these words: cells, tissues, organs, organ system, and organism. And you're going to put them in order. So you can put them in order just like I did here. Okay, so you want to move through, but look at these different kinds of models, make one of your own, and let's see what we come up with. Have a good time. Ask me any questions you need. Just ask me in Schoology.